So, hello world. I thought there would be time for marbles, but this is what happens when you're not prepared. Okay. I think I found the right stream. I did. Good, I did. It's the test soundtrack, which isn't all that exciting. I know. But that's what we get. Okay, I'm just setting things up. Chilling out. Hey DPI, I don't even have my earbuds in. Puck, why are you under my feet? What's up, buddy? The dogs are like, you're not throwing Cheerios, so we're not gonna be where we're supposed to be. Let me turn it, let me plug in my earbuds, adjust music, things of that nature. I thought there was gonna be marbles. I fail. I fail. Okay, that should make it a little easier to hear me. And let me... Yeah, we need to set up bingo anyways. You're right, we really do. Let me set up... I have like a gazillion windows open. So make this bigger. There we go. Okay. Properties. Hey, Wayne. I am literally getting things set up. So you guys see what I see. This is what's playing through Ariane space. This is actually going to be the right scene. I know you're like, we don't care what scene it is. I know you don't care what scene it is. I care what scene it is. Okay. And now we need bingo. And we'll do bingo in Chrome. So bingo baker. Ugh. Okay. I'll give you guys the dogs for a second while I finish setting all of this up. So my mistake today, oh, this is already has it. Okay, I am okay with this. Okay, cool. I am totally okay with this. So let me just embiggen this. All right, there we go. Hey. Congratulations, are there before after images? Wait, what? Oh, Wayne's haircut. Yeah, Wayne, I was telling Favorite Human about that, and I realized that you not getting your haircut was a longer span of time than Favorite Human has been alive. And yes, this is totally a ninja stream. All right, so this is the... What is this? I don't even know if I have the right mission. I really don't. Let me pull up something different. Because... Rocket Launch Live said it was Inmarsat, and that's what I'm going with. And their stream says something different, so we're gonna go with what Rocket Launch Live reported. There we go. Okay. Ariane. Oh, you're Ariane 5. Launch bingo. You're already giving me terms. Perfect. Alright, so dogs barking. Let's see. Ariane space. It's okay. I can read that. Ariane 5. Shh. Nobody asked you, Tinker. Inmarsat 5. Tinker. Tiba 1. Booster. Tinker! Separation. First stage. If I can spell first. First stage. Separation. Fairing separation. Locks. No, not enter. Locks. LH2. Kuru. Solid. Oh, solid rocket boosters. Which is better than saying strap-on rocket boosters. VA250. Egyptian government. Oh, ComSat. ComSat, any word not in English. Nominal. Oh, they don't call Miko Seiko and Max Q. T minus. Partner. Mention of partner. They're birds usually, right? Birds? Birds on... Wait, what time is it in Kuru? Alexa, what time is it in Kuru?
The time in Kuku, Virginia is 3:42 p.m.
Alexa, what time is it in French Guiana?
The time in French Guiana is 5:42 p.m.
There might still be birds. Birds on camera. Global Express. Thanks, Arenstro. Global Express 5. Broken Symmetry says, I was just typing nominal when you said it. Woohoo! I mean, nominal is one thing that we can expect to hear. T minus is something we can expect to hear. There will be words not in English. I will be amused, though, if somebody has another sign that says something in French. My dogs will bark. My dogs will bark. Internal power? I think internal power is a thing. Any mention 1 hour ahead of Paranor. I'm still getting Paranor's time zone and my own time zone synced, and I think the easiest way for Paranor to remember it is that I am halfway between him and Central Time. Any mention of weather? Liftoff? Good one, Veronica. I can't believe I almost forgot that one. My smart device told me it was 5 something, so the launch is supposed to happen in like half an hour or so. KA band. Good. Sorry, I'm just adjusting. Sheep? That's for New Zealand. This is in French Guiana. Thales Linea. KA band. Which I know if I say it Kilo Alpha, that just rubs you the wrong way, Dave. Yeah, not in... I mean, there are sheep in South America, but not near this launch pad. This launch pad is in kind of a rainforesty or very tropical climate. So of all the launches we've watched from here, all I can really remember is birds. So both satellites are KA. Okay. Start up? Sure. Why not? GEO. I guess we could add people cheering. The great shift outside. Shot of people outside, because they have a nice launch. Thales rhymes with Alice. Thales? Then why is it... Never mind. I'm not even gonna ask. Like, is that French? Talus. Yeah, I could see that being French. Any word not in English at Annie. Yeah. It's here. Any word not in English is on. Talus is French. See, but it looks English. Also, I found out that today I learned that the word in English for cherries comes from, I'm probably going to slaughter this, it's been a while, cherise, which is the French word for cherry. And because English speakers heard the S, because you don't pronounce the S unless there's like a vowel after it, they, let me type it out in chat. They thought it was plural, so they just shortened it to, you know, cherry. Ma chérie. But yeah, cherise. I think that's right. I might be wrong. All right. Anything else? I could try to load up marbles. Guilty as a summer day, Veronica. Yeah, most of the gods that we're familiar with were of Greek and Roman origin. Except our weekdays, they are Norse. Yeah, I know. We just kind of cobble everything together. And now we went to that static. Oh, okay. Up. There goes the countdown. I have too many scenes here. So let me fix all my audio. There's a lot of audio. So kill that music. Unmute this. No, I said unmute. There. And yeah, I need to generate the bingo card. Like I said, I have a whole lot of things. Alright, so I'm going to click generate. And play. And we want this one. I don't know if Paranor is here to help. And for those that have never played bingo before, you literally click generate card. And okay, I understand. And then your full size card is there. So I'm actually going to squish this down and put it on a part of my screen where I can see it, which makes it really tiny for you guys. Undock the audio. Yeah, I normally kind of cheat and just do it through the website.
Mesdames et messieurs, bonsoir. Bienvenue à
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to Kourou to follow the final chronology of this 250th Ariane 5 launch. We are here live from the Jupiter Control Center. All parameters are green for a launch tonight at 16:09 Guyana time. We will discover the launcher on its launch pad and its table, 53 meters high. It's waiting in silence. When the engine starts roaring, they will roar for good. At the top of the launcher, the fairing, below which we have at the top TIBA-1, the heaviest satellite, 5,600 kilos, below which we have Inmarsat JX5, just below 4,000 kilos. And immediately we go to the Jupiter Control Center with Katie as well, with her guests.
Thanks indeed, Claude. Yes, I'm in the Jupiter Control Center. And we are celebrating the 40th year of the Ariane launcher. It first lifted off on Christmas Eve 1979, and here we are 40 years later launching the 250th Ariane. The CEO of Ariane Space is Stéphane Israël, and Stéphane is with me now. Stéphane, thanks for joining me here on the floor. So the 250th Ariane today is the 8th flight here from the Guyana Space Center this year. So what's special about today's launch?
In fact, you have a little bit said it. It is the 250th Ariane tonight. We celebrate a birthday which has started now almost 40 years ago. It was for Christmas, 24 December 1979, and it has been a huge success story, and we are very happy today to celebrate it with two key customers. Egypt, for which we are going to launch TIBA-1 in a consortium whose responsibility is made of Airbus and Thales Alenia Space, and Inmarsat GX5, and it will be the 10th satellite we orbit for Inmarsat. So we are very proud to deliver for Egypt and Inmarsat tonight.
And we are 17 minutes to launch right now. What's happening and what's going to happen?
Yes, so the day went very smoothly. We have made all the operations linked to the final countdown. And a few minutes before the launch, we will have the latest news from the weather. So either it will be okay, or we have a long launch window of 1 hour and 45 minutes. So we will wait for this latest information. Then at H0 plus 7 seconds, the launcher will lift off at the ignition of the solid boosters. The launch will last 34 minutes. We will separate on an elliptical orbit inclined as at 5 degrees as opposed to the equatorial plane. We will separate first TIBA-1 after 27 minutes and after GX5 after 34 minutes.
Stéphane, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
So Stéphane's going to take his seat now back in the fishbowl. That's the glass that you can see there behind us here in the Mission Control Center. There are a number of different teams working here in the fishbowl. Each of those teams has its own desk, and this is the team who are doing the flight directorate, the team who take all the final decisions in the event of unplanned situations, and it's headed up by Stéphane Israël. And the glass is actually very special reinforced glass. You can't actually hear people through it, so if you knock on that glass you can't actually hear what people are saying, and it's there especially to protect those teams who are inside. Now, we're going to go back over to Claude, who's out there on the terrace outside the Jupiter Control Center. Over to you, Claude.
As
Stéphane Israel just said, we're not only here for the 250th Ariane launch, but also for the 40th anniversary of this Ariane launcher. Therefore, in 1 minute, I propose we follow the history of Ariane.
Allumage, premier étage.
3, 2, 1, feu, décollage. All boosters off.
And next to me is Etienne Sandron, an engineer at Ariane Space. Etienne, you're 24 years old. Why did you choose this job, and what is your function at Ariane Space?
Ce métier, d'abord, c'est une passion, c'est l'espace.
It's a true passion, a passion for space. We really want to touch it, and if you want to get as close to it as possible, it's by getting as close as possible to the rocket, which is why I found my way into Ariane Space, and I'm in charge of the qualification of satellites to the environment of the...
Thank you. I propose we follow a recording of Lise Petersen and Guido telling us about the first launch.
Bonjour, j'ai la chance aujourd'hui.
Hello, I'm very happy to have next to me Mr. Guy Dubois, who was in charge of the launch vehicle and attended the very first launch in December 1979. Tell us how it came to life.
Well, the birth started very easily, and then it was a little bit tougher. It was the LO1 campaign after a number of trials, and particularly a fuel mock-up that allowed us to define the core operations for L01 in a mere 54 days. And it ended with a final countdown. There's ignition, we clap like madmen. We were really happy, that is what we wanted to see. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds, and the engine switches off. And there, we were dumbfounded. And it took us a few seconds to try and shout out that we needed to get a grip of ourselves.
And what was it like inside the launch center, which was 250 meters from the vehicle, unthinkable today?
Well, the conditions were pretty special, because we thought that we would come out of the CDL bunker a few hours after the launch, and we'd locked it up 3 hours before. And we were supposed to be able to stay there for 4 or 5, 6 hours maximum. And after 14 hours, we were still in there. So we'd completely run out of water, of food. People were getting a little bit nervous and angry, so we had to open the doors. Although the safety conditions were not possibly the best, but the people from safety allowed us to open the door and get some fresh blood into the bunker.
And how much time did you have for this?
Well, the specs said that we had 8 days between the first H0 and the next H0. We had 8 days to get it up and running again, new launch sequence included. 8 days is 192 hours, and we worked for 189 hours. So it meant we worked 24/7 with all of the unions pitching in, all of the people at the launch center, all of the people of Guyana. Everyone was behind this launch.
Tell us about the 24th of December 1979.
So on December 24th, 1979, of course, we had extended beyond the days that we had in theory, and we were stopped by a weather red light. And, of course, filling in with helium and so on was complicated. And then, of course, at the very last launch attempt, it's when we succeeded. There were no helium reserves, no liquid hydrogen, and then it took off. It was a real Christmas present.
And what did you feel at the time?
So we felt huge joy, a little bit like an athlete who reaches his last tether. So there were many tears around, I can't lie about it. A lot of tears, a lot of joy.
It was like a real family around you.
Yeah, absolutely. A family spirit prevails. And we reached an operational capacity after the first launch that we were supposed to have reached at L04. So we were 3 launches in advance, basically. We basically designed the modern real-time operational methods.
You were real space pioneers.
Yeah, we could say that we were space pioneers. And I think even today's people are still pioneers for this flight. For instance, there's the pioneering spirit.
So what would you tell a young aerospace engineer today?
What would I tell a young engineer? I'd say, believe in your job, because it's a fabulous job. You need to be confident in the future, and you need to be driven by the same family spirit.
Thank you so much, Guy, for sharing this moment of history today and telling us about this beautiful story.
Thank you, Lise.
Well, an inspiring gentleman, isn't he?
A bunker 250 meters away from the launch pad. That would be unimaginable today. What I feel is a lot of respect for people like Guy, who gave birth to Europe's space industry, and it was really over those 10 days that the operating spirit was born, and something that's still in force today.
Thank you, Etienne. There's a weather forecast to red. Over to Katie.
From everybody looking back over those last 40 years. Now, yes, as Claude mentioned, if you look at the top right-hand side of your screen, you can see there that the countdown has turned red. That's because we have red means stop, and of course green means go. The flow of information here at the Guyana Space Centre is made exactly for this. That's why we have the status panels, and it's all very normal. It means that the system is very much designed.
All right, so for those that can't read French, everything is green except for météo or weather. So weather is red right now.
Okay, so it's stopped. So the countdown has now stopped, and that's because this is the beginning of the synchronized sequence.
À tous de DDO, arrêt de décompte suite à un rouge lié aux conditions météo. Que tous les moyens restent prêts pour la reprise de la chronologie à 0-7 minutes en cas de retour au vert.
So the Range Operations Manager has just announced that the countdown has stopped because we have a weather concern. So I'm afraid there's nothing we can do about Mother Nature. She's not on our side tonight, and she wasn't yesterday, but let's see how things go. The launcher and the satellites are in safe mode, and remember that we have a launch window today of 1 hour and 45 minutes. So we have plenty of time to see whether or not the weather becomes more clement. And if you look on the right-hand side there, you can see these are our status panels, and Meteo is the one that's turned green. That is the weather. And I'm suspecting that we may be talking here about high-altitude winds, but we'll wait to hear from the experts on that. So I'm going to come off air for a short while, and we will stay in touch with you and let you know what's happening and how the teams are getting on as soon as we get any information. But for now, I'm going to cut the mic and wait for more information.
All right, so yeah, they have a thing with weather. Weather is red. High altitude winds, those generally aren't good for a rocket launch. I don't know how long they're going to be on hold. She's getting more, the announcer is getting more information now. These are the things we can do to pass the time. Y'all can ask me questions and I can do my best to answer them. Our instro is here in chat. Dave is kind of our satellite expert. Also, there's many people in the community that know way more about rockets than I do. Plus, they have the luxury of going and Googling and finding things up in Wikipedia that I just can't do because I'm producing and hosting and all these other things. We can throw more Cheerios at the dogs. There we go. There's Cheerios at the dogs. We can play marbles. We can try to do a thing of marbles. I really do need a third monitor for all of this. I really do. Let me try putting that over here. And you're going to see my screen flash a gazillion times as I move things around. We still have bingo going. Where is Guyana again? French Guiana is in South America. So north coast of South America, as TPI says. Northeast. And bits, thank you, Wayne Johnson. And make it rain. Tinker's like, I want those bits, Mom. I want those bits, Mom. And make it rain. Yeah, no, can't have. There really are not enough monitors. Unfortunately, with how my desk is, I'm going to have to get like one of those extender arms to mount another monitor up above. Hey Joe. Joe says, trivia for Annie I heard. What is the longest continuous time a human has spent in space? At least a year. For one individual human, it's at least a year. For humans in general, I think it's been at least 16 years. 437 days. Thank you, Kerbal. Thank you, Kerbal. I think I am going to, because nobody's really doing the whole lot of... Oh, shoot. Yeah, that was set by Valerie on Mur. DPI comes in interestingly. The APCP used in Vega is APAI HTPB 1912, and the one in Ariane 5 SRBs, that's solid rocket booster, is APAI HTPB 1814. That's just different types of solid rocket fuel. Yeah, Mir had some really long stays. They really did. Kerbal's asking what all of that gibberish meant in layman's terms. It's literally two different types of solid rocket fuel. That's literally all it is. And DPI breaks it down further, saying the percentages of aluminum powder and HTPB 1912 is 19% aluminum and 12% HTTB. So an AP is ammonium perchlorate. Which one is Semtex, asks Vanhara? Okay, I'm going to try something. Properties. Oh, HTTB is just foam, essentially. Well, that's not working like how I wanted it to, which is unfortunate. So we'll just have to do this. Let's see, we already have full screen media. So I'm going to need to capture... I'm just literally adding... Puck literally just shook his fur, and marbles and Cheerios went everywhere. Cantab says, we discussed a bit with EJ the other day. Maybe you have some insight. Why do the two liquid stages on India's PSLV use different fuels. Second stage is UDMH and nitrogen tetroxide, but fourth stage is MMH and MON. What's MMH and MON? UDMH and nitrogen tetroxide, which I don't know if I have my models handy. I think they got buried under things. But UDMH and nitrogen tetroxide are super stable when they're stored. They're really reactive and really toxic, but they're super stable when they're stored. Monomethyl and mixed oxygens of nitrogen. Oh, mixed oxides of nitrogen. That just sounds like variations of hydrazine and nitric acid nitrogen tetroxide mix. So nitrogen tetroxide does this weird thing that depending on the temperature, it actually goes between the N2O4 and I think it's just NO2, and it has to deal with all of temperature. The hydrazine, it sounds like, because UDMH is dimethyl unsymmetrical hydrazine, and hydrazine has 2 nitrogens on it. Again, I wish I knew where my models were, because it's easier to show it, but I don't know where my models got off to. I'm looking around and I'm not seeing them. So it's that same hydrazine group, that same 2 nitrogen group, and the mono methyl just means it has 1 carbon group. So MMH might be more stable than UDMH. So it does kind of sound like a terminology issue. It really does. So of course my dog's like, but mom. Alright. I am just working on a few things real quick. Chrome, and we want this, but we want to have it drop back behind. Hold on, doggo. You will get your stuff when I say it's time for you to get your stuff. Alright, so I have marbles ready, kind of. It's some molecular models from university, nothing cool like rocket fuel though, just minerals. I think they got squashed in a house move. So, let me, because I have 1 molecular model handy. The dogs are going to go nuts because I want to touch the Cheerio box. So, and I'm sure if I clean, I can find them. So the molecular models that I have are these. They're kind of like Lego pieces, and you can detach them and move them all around. This is just a, oh, it's only a ring of 5. It's a 5 carbon ring. And I think somewhere I have, what do I have up here? And this is just some more carbon stuff. So this is what I mean by molecular models, and I have other ones that, you know, are actually the shape of the molecules that make up the rocket fuels. Wait, is that them right there? Hold on, I think I might have found them. Let's like carefully not pull everything else. Yes, I found them, guys! Yeah, cyclopentane cantab. So here is the nitrogen tetroxide. Tinker's like, I saw the Cheerios, Mom. Have some Cheerios, dog. And this, depending on temperature, will actually break down to... I would need different bits, because this would probably double bond. This oxygen would double bond with one of the nitrogens, and then this oxygen would just be single bonded to the nitrogen. So this is the one that is red or orange, depending on temperature, and it does its structure, or at least what most of it's made up of, in if you keep it in a vial, also depends on temperature, because NO2 is mostly colorless, mostly. Alright, so DPI says, MMH. Oh, things are happening. Hold on. I have everything ducked, so I can't hear. Well, I don't know. Oh, weather's green again. Look at that.
So we heard there from the Range Operations Manager telling us that we now have a new launch time. So we have, if you look at the top right-hand side of your screen, you can see that the countdown clock has turned green again, and we will be resetting the clock for 21 hours 23 minutes. That is in Universal Time, or Greenwich Mean Time, as we like to say in the UK. And the countdown clock will start 7 minutes before the launch time, because, as I was explaining earlier, the synchronized sequence is a sequence that is automated, and it needs to be gone through from beginning to end. So we had a halt in the countdown for anyone who's just joining us and who missed that. We're looking here at the lovely shot, actually. This is not the actual Ariane 5. That was a model just outside the Jupiter Mission Control Center. I think it's about 3/4 of the height of the real thing. But here we're looking at the inside of that Mission Control Center and the operational teams there who have now decided to reset the clock for a new new launch time. And here Ariane 5 and its passengers waiting patiently on the pad.
À tous de DDO, attention pour la reprise du temps des comptes. Top, début de la séquence finale lanceur. Le nouvel H0 visé est 21h 23 minutes 00 TU. Je répète, le nouvel H0 visé est 21h 23 minutes 00 TU.
Okay, so he has now announced he's reset the clock. He has restarted the countdown sequence. The synchronized sequence has now begun. The synchronized sequence is the last 7 minutes of the final countdown. The final countdown actually started 9.5 hours ago. Now, the people watching over these operations are in the Launch Control Center. And
the 250th Ariane launch campaign started last September 5 at the Launcher Integration Building. The main cryogenic stage and the 2 solid rocket boosters were first assembled on the launch table, and then the cryogenic upper stage was mated onto the main stage. On November 4, the launch vehicle was transferred to the final assembly building. The launcher preparation was completed in the same building, setting up the links between the launch vehicle and the launch table, finalizing the assembly of thermal protections, flight cells and batteries, while the pyrotechnical lines were being armed. Then came the highlight when the mission's 2 passengers were hoisted on board.
The launch campaign had just started with the arrival of TIBA-1 at the Felix Eboué Airport October 16. It has been transferred to the payload preparation facility in S5C, South High Bay. Inmarsat GX5, the lower payload, has landed at Felix Eboué Airport on October 24 and was transferred directly to the S5C payload facility for unpacking. Combined operation with the launcher have started for TIBA-1 on November 7th by its flight mounting on the payload adapter. Then it was transferred to the base building, hoisted onto the Ariane dual launch structure, so-called SILDA, and encapsulated under the fairing on November 12th. For Inmarsat GX5, combined operation with the launcher had begun on November 9th, with its flight mounting onto the payload adapter. After transfer to the BAF, it was hoisted onto the launcher and encapsulated under the SILDA and the fairing on November 13th. The general dress rehearsal for range, the launcher on both satellites, was performed last Monday with all tracking stations that will be involved in the final chronology on the flight.
Yesterday's operations at D-1 consisted in the transfer of the launch vehicle to the launch zone. Today at D0, the operations will gradually gear up the launcher for liftoff. At the end of the chronology, during the last 7 minutes, a fully automated sequence run by the launch base computers will fine-tune the launcher's configuration before handing over control to the onboard computer. At H0, the onboard computer sends the ignition order to the Vulcan agent and some 7 seconds later to the 2 solid rocket boosters, which will unleash their 1,300 tons of thrust to lift off the 250th Ariane launcher.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank our customers, their manufacturers, and all the team involved in the satellite's preparation campaign that will lead to the Ariane 5 launch 250, roughly 40 years after the first Ariane launch in French Guiana.
So those are all the operations that have been going on in the last couple of months, all leading up now to this point, a few minutes before launch, 3 minutes before launch, and the teams watching over all these operations are in the Launch Control Center, which is about 3 kilometers from the pad, not 250 meters like the first Ariane that we heard about earlier. About 100 or so people in here, and they're dealing with all the systems concerning both the launch vehicle and the launch zone. They started their preparations months ago, but right now their job is to make sure that Ariane is ready for takeoff. And they're monitoring all the events during this final phase now of the synchronized sequence. Very busy, concentrating hard right now. There we have Ariane, the satellites inside the top of the launcher there, waiting for liftoff. Nice and comfy. Got their air conditioning in first class with their seat belts on. Coming up to 2 minutes now, getting close. This is a good shot here of the cryogenic arms clamping to the upper stage of the launch vehicle. They feed liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen into the upper tanks, and to keep hydrogen and oxygen as a cryogenic fuel to keep it cold, we have to keep the hydrogen at minus 253 and the oxygen at minus 150 Celsius, very cold. Everybody coming out of the control center now to watch the launch with their own eyes from the viewing balconies on each side of the control center. This is the mission control center, about 15 kilometers or so from the pad.
À tous de DDO, attention pour moins 1 minute. Top, à 0 moins 1 minute.
We are live at the Guiana Space Center, and 1 minute to the launch of Thibault 1 for Thales Alenia Space and Airbus Defence and Space on behalf of the Government of Egypt, and GX5 for the operator Inmarsat, built by Thales Alenia Space. Our best wishes to all the teams. We're pretty set to go. Let's watch now and wish everybody the best of luck.
Are we ready, Tink? Are we ready, Puck? Yeah, Guido, you won that race.
À tous de DDO, attention pour les décomptes finales.
Looks like they're...
10, 9...
Told you to do a show for the grand finale.
6...
It better!
4...
Oh my goodness, everything else pulled away.
1... Top! Allumage EAP, décollage.
Here's all the birds. If you had that on your card, you might as well mark it. There it goes. Kerbel's got a bingo. Good.
Les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
They call it nominal.
La propulsion est nominale.
Cantab says
Well,
that
is a spectacular sight. Ariane 5, flight number 250, the 250th Ariane vehicle to launch from the pad here at the Guyana Space Center, blazing a trail across the equatorial skies. Flying supersonic, faster than the speed of sound. And the vibrations are reaching us here at the Guyana Space Center.
Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
He's telling us that everything on board is going according to plan. We're flying out east across the Atlantic. Tiber 1 and GX5 have started their journey. And he's telling us the propulsion is nominal. Right now the boosters are doing all the work. They're those two big solid tanks on each side of the launcher. Once they burn their propellant, they separate and fall away, and we might be lucky enough to see that.
Oh, I know, Cantab, I know. But it helps me and it helps other people, so.
And we could just see them back there.
There goes.
Those two big boosters. Those two dots we saw moving away. There we can see them. Look at that. The dot in the middle is the Vulcan engine on the main stage. And the two lights on either side are the boosters. We don't need them anymore. They've burnt their propellant and we are shedding weight. That's the name of the game. We need to get rid of our weight as quickly as we can, and those were propelling us away from our Earth's gravity.
La propulsion est nominale.
Bottom left is our altitude. We're 106 kilometers high and climbing. Our distance in the middle, if you were to draw a straight line from the pad, you can still see those boosters moving away. And we have confirmation there that the fairing has now separated, and look how those parts flex. It's called the breathing mode. It's all part of the plan. We don't need the fairing anymore because we are technically in space and our satellites can be exposed to space now because there's no longer any friction. And the captain has switched off the seatbelt signs.
Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
Everything's going normally. Bottom right-hand side, we can see the speed is 263 kilometers per second, not per hour, per second. We will be getting faster and faster and heading towards speeds of above 9 kilometers per second later. Top right-hand side is our trajectory. The cross is the actual position of our launch vehicle, and the trajectory is our planned trajectory.
La trajectoire est nominale.
Everything's going according to plan. Everything is nominal. You can see there in the front is our first satellite, which is going to be separated. Tiber 1. You can see it there for the first time. We're going to find out a little bit more now about Tiber 1 in this film.
Assalamu alaikum. Merhaba bikum fi Guyana. My name is Valérie Boucher, and I am the Tiber 1 Program Director at Ariane Space. My work mainly consists in interfacing with the customer and in preparing the mission for Tiber 1. Tiber 1 is a civil and government telecommunication satellite for Egypt. It was developed by Thales Alenia Space and Airbus Defence and Space as co-prime contractors, with TAS acting as the consortium's lead partner. TAS is in charge of the communication payload, whereas Airbus is responsible for the Eurostar 3000 platform. Airbus is Arianespace's direct customer for this mission. Arianespace and Airbus has developed a fruitful cooperation since the creation of the European launch service provider in 1980. The satellite will be owned and operated by the government of Egypt. It will be the fourth satellite launched by Arianespace for Egypt. On behalf of Arianespace, I would like to thank Airbus, Thales Alenia Space, and the government of Egypt for their confidence. And I wish all the best to Tiba-1. Hasaid Tiba-1.
And our next satellite to be released is GX5 for Inmarsat. Can't see it right now because it's hidden inside the black structure, the fairing. Arianespace and Inmarsat go back to 1981 with the Marex series. We're going to get a closer look now at the most advanced satellite in Inmarsat's GX fleet.
Inmarsat is a faithful customer of European industry. Thales Alenia Space is the prime contractor of GX5. This satellite is based on the Heritage platform, well known by Arianespace. Several satellites of this type have already flown on Ariane 5. GX5 was assembled and tested in Cannes in the south of France. The telecom payload was tailored by Thales Alenia Space on the specific need of Inmarsat. It will support mobile communications over Europe and the Middle East. Inmarsat and Arianespace contracted the launch of GX5 end of 2017. In the meantime, several meetings were held to prepare the mission and the satellite operations in Kourou. All interfaces between GX5 and Ariane 5 were duly documented and approved by all parties. This includes the detailed sequence of events on the day of the launch. It starts with satellite wake-up early in the morning, followed by several hours of cross-checks by launch base and satellite teams, involving remote stations all over the world. Arianespace, CNES and Ariane Group wish their customers a successful mission.
And during that film we picked up the signal at the tracking station. The tracking station in Natal, and that's in Brazil, on the northeastern coast of South America. And the flight path takes us out across the Atlantic, across Africa and along the equator. The launch is sending signals back to Earth during its flight, and we have a network of stations along that flight path, keeping us in constant watch, if you like, over the health of the systems. And this is now the switch off of the main stage, and the upper stage has now switched its engine on. You can see that's what it looks like. There we go, confirmation there that the upper stage has now switched its engine on, and that's cameras on board a previous flight showing us what it looks like when the main stage is jettisoned. So you're looking here now at the upper stage is the white disc, the black structure is what we call the cylinder. That's a protection mechanism for the satellite underneath it. Today it's GX5, and it also allows us to attach the satellite in front. It makes the dual launches possible, and we're really entering now the next phase in this flight, because the upper stage has taken the wheel and its engine is going to burn for about 16 minutes, and he's just told us that the propulsion is nominal, it's normal. Tiba-1 is owned and operated by the Egyptian government.
Alright, since this one doesn't really have a whole lot of talking going on, there is... Ooh, more internet subscribers. There is another launch tonight in about 6 hours, more or less. Actually, probably more than 6 hours. That one will be cutting it close because I need to go pick up Favorite Human from work. Unless I can convince him to go and either order me a lift, unless I go drop off the car and order a lift, or unless he gets a lift from work to home. My car unfortunately has a dead battery in it, so I'm afraid to drive it, which is why we're doing the car sharing thing today. So that one, it is an India flight tonight, and I really do want to cover it. Hey, humans are talking. But I think I'm going to be cutting it a little close. I'm going to try to set everything up beforehand so it's all good to go. I don't even know if there's a live stream. I'm assuming there's a live stream. So we'll see. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's pretty much how it's going to go. Tinker's like, I just want bits, Mom. I don't care about everything else. That's a pretty good infomercial, though. Journey started. Asked, is it dead battery is an alternator issue?
How important
I don't know. The car's from 1992.
And actually, TIBA-1 is the fourth satellite which has launched for Egypt. The previous ones were Nilesat. And we're just hearing there now that we're picking up the signal at the Ascension Island tracking station. And that the propulsion is normal. Ascension Island is a tiny volcanic island in the South Atlantic. It's halfway between South America and Africa. I believe that NASA had a station there until 1989. TIBA teams there. Airbus Defence and Space and Thales Alenia Space built TIBA-1 as co-prime contractors. They've created an advanced satellite.
With a TIBA-1 satellite, Egypt takes its place amongst the big players in space, as its new satellite is a jewel of advanced technology. It will give Egypt a dual-use civil and government telecommunications system that is extremely efficient and secure in K-band, based on latest digital payload and antennas technologies. This program had ambitious objectives, both in terms of performance and technical challenges. These were met thanks to the extended cooperation and trust between the Egyptian customer team and the French industrial team, Thales Alenia Space and Airbus. On behalf of this industrial consortium, I would like to thank the government of Egypt for the confidence in us and the quality of our great cooperation. We are committed to standing side by side and every step of the way. I also want to thank the French authorities for their continuous support all along this program. We all wish the very best for TIBA-1.
TIBA-1 is the first dual telecommunication satellite for the government of Egypt. It is a particular honor for Airbus to build this satellite and its ground segment together with Thales Alenia Space. We know the vital importance of this program for the national security and the sovereignty of Egypt, as well as for your economic development. I would like to thank the government of Egypt for their trust in Airbus and our highly reliable Eurostar 3000 platform. We hope that it opens the door for future collaboration between our countries. I would also like to convey my thanks and recognition to the Airbus teams and, of course, to our partner Thales Alenia Space, who provided the satellite payload. This also is an opportunity for me to warmly congratulate the government of Egypt for the high level of collaboration and professionalism of the Egyptian managers and teams who have shown incredible dedication and involvement in the preparation of the service operations. It's now time for me to wish TIBA-1 a successful launch and a long life in space.
Great cooperation there between the two aerospace giants of Europe to make some superb satellites today. And if you look at... He says everything's normal. Top right-hand side of your screen, you can see the trajectory there. We call that the roller coaster effect. When you can see that we were climbing high into space, then we've dropped a little bit of altitude, and then we start climbing higher again. That's because before we were using all our power to get away from Earth. Now we're going to be using it to be able to start speeding up so we can climb higher and higher later in the flight. So let's turn our attention now to our second passenger Inmarsat's GX5. It's a hugely advanced satellite for mobile broadband, and it's going to deliver greater capacity than the whole of Inmarsat's existing GX fleet. A word from their CEO now, Rupert Pearce.
As we enter the era of an always-on, hyper-connected world, we can clearly see that connectivity now empowers human potential as never before, and that connectivity can flatten the world.
Oh shoot, I need to get a trickle battery charger for my scooter too. The car gets driven at least once a week. I know we've got a launch going on, but it's space commercials, and I don't think you guys really want to watch all the space commercials. The car does get driven at least once a week. Depends on which one of us is taking it. But it's usually for short distances. I don't think it gets driven for more than a half hour at a time. Take it for a ride once a month. Yeah. Taking it down to like my grandfather's once a month would probably do the trick, because that's a good half hour, 45-minute drive one direction. So 30 miles would be enough. Yeah, so taking it down to my grandfather's would be long enough.
Including making the maritime and aviation industries
because
more
most
efficient,
of
effective, but also greener and safer.
Young sounds weird in the fact that there's not a whole lot of traffic compared to some big cities, so for me to say, oh yeah, some things like 20 minutes away, that might actually be only 15 miles. Or it might be 15 miles instead of like 5, and I know that doesn't translate to kilometers well, but still.
As well as keep GX well ahead of our current and future competition.
Kentab says, I'm not sure how short is too short to recharge and what was used to start.
A step change advance.
Yeah. I've had cars that have sat before. This is not the first time I've had a car that's mostly just sat, because I didn't commute anywhere.
Delivering a bandwidth increase that is greater than the combined capacity of our entire
this is an old car, and it hasn't been serviced since I've gotten it, so yeah.
Unprecedented enhancement in the overall
I do need to do something, and taking the battery out and getting it tested tonight is something I can do.
With GX5.
But there's part of me that's already fairly certain that the battery's old and needs to be replaced anyways, so I'm not too worried about it.
Our partners and our customers.
I'm really not too worried about it. It's an old car. It looks like it was decently taken care of, but I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, let me put it to you this way. It needs new tires. It needs at least one new tire. So the fact that it needs a new battery does not surprise me. Is it petrol or diesel? In the US, most cars are petrol. Most. So yeah, it's petrol, not diesel.
Global mobile broadband connectivity for all, no matter where you are.
It's a really old hunk of metal.
It's a changing world indeed, and teamwork.
Space commercial over.
Is the name of the game. Now, look, you can see there our tracking stations and our flight path across our planet. We lifted off from Galileo in French Guiana. And right-hand side of the screen, there you can see we've picked up a signal at the Libreville tracking station, which is now tracking us, and we're heading out across Africa. We crossed the Atlantic in 20 minutes. It's pretty impressive, and we're climbing higher in altitude now, and the trajectory is nominal. GX5 is the 5th satellite in the Global Express fleet, and it was built by the men and women at Thales Alenia Space.
This launch today is very special for us because we are involved in both satellites aboard Ariane 5. Everyone at Thales Alenia Space feels personally involved in today's mission with a great sense of pride. It is a great honor for Thales Alenia Space to have built the most powerful Global Express satellite to date that will meet the surging demand for high-capacity broadband across Europe and the Middle East. GX5 will play an important role in the dynamic growth of the Global Express network for Inmarsat and will significantly increase its existing capacity for aviation and maritime services. It is fitted with powerful state-of-the-art Ka-band technology and benefits from the extensive experience from Thales Alenia Space.
Anyone else for marbles?
At Thales Alenia Space, we have been working with
some of the stuff is cool, but after a while you're like, okay. And Ariane Space is known for all of their space commercials. Hey, Open Cage!
By delivering satellites with outstanding
this one took a while to get what is happening. Yeah,
so hard on this mission. We wish Inmarsat
marbles is happening because space commercials.
For today's launch.
Indeed, and we are now 23 minutes, coming up to 24 minutes into that launch, and we're in the range now of the tracking station.
Yeah, Journey, I am still totally going to test the alternator because that's something that's easy. And I don't have a jump battery pack for the car, but it sounds like a good idea. I think I have jumper cables. I think I at least have jumper cables, but I've seen the jump battery packs and they look amazing.
So how does Ariane know?
They look amazing. All right, how many people do we have playing?
The upper stage has a
9. Anybody else?
Part. We call it the vehicle equipment bay. And it's more than an onboard computer, really. It's a whole management system, and it analyzes information from the engines,
rearrange things real quick so they don't get lost.
For the best outcome of the mission. Right now, it's getting ready to switch off the engine.
La propulsion est nominale.
It'll send the cut-off command when it senses that the launcher is correctly orientated. It's going to need to be on track, so going in the right direction, and on time. The computer knows that it needs to fly from 0 seconds to its cut-off time, so it also has to be at the right altitude, of course, and travelling at the right speed. And there you have it. This is the scheduled moment for us to switch the engine on, off rather.
Extinction de l'étage supérieur cryotechnique.
And we have the confirmation there that we have now switched the engine off. So we're entering the next phase. It's called a ballistic phase. It means that we're coasting without the engine, without power. So we are indeed on orbit and at the correct altitude and speed. It means we're now getting ready to start the next phase, which is to prepare to separate our satellites from the mothership. Got a couple of minutes to go until we're scheduled to separate our first passenger.
Oh wow!
Now, these tracking stations that we can see along the flight path are sending the information that they collect back here to what we call the CVI on a hill just behind us here at the Mission Control Center, or the Quick Look Telemetry Display Control Center. And they receive the information from the tracking stations, they process it and analyze it, and they report the flight status of the launcher back to the teams here in Jupiter. So they make a quick selection to check how the flight's progressing in real time, And then they tell the range operations manager when they have confirmation of the main events, so that he or she can then announce them to the range. Now, of course, later they can analyse the information to see how the vehicle performed and make any adjustments for future flights. So TIBA 1 is our upper passenger, the one at the front, and it's due to separate in a matter of seconds now. We're going through a very precise set of manoeuvres. The upper stage is orientating the satellite so that it can release it onto a very precise orbit. This is the scheduled moment for that separation. And we have confirmation there from the range operations manager that TIBA 1 has indeed separated from the mothership.
Yeah, TIBA 1 separated.
So congratulations to all the TIBA 1 teams. Now we have some applause there in the Mission Control Center. So TIBA 1 is on its way. Congratulations to everybody in Egypt, of course, and to the co-prime contractors Thales Alenia Space and Airbus Defence and Space. But of course we still have our other satellite attached, GX5. That's underneath the black structure. If you look at the right-hand side of the screen, you can see the black structure, the cylinder. Here we go, there's a better shot of it there. It's underneath, so we can't actually see it right now, and we're going to need to release that cylinder before we can start the process of releasing GX5. It's going to be released in about 6 minutes or so.
I wonder if it's their first time, and that's why they look bewildered.
Still by the Malindi team.
All right, anybody else for another round of marbles?
See the sort of star. That's where we are, heading out now over the Indian Ocean. And TIBA 1 is starting its new life. It needs to climb to 36,000 kilometers to geostationary orbit before it can start delivering services. Various different things will have to happen to it over the next few days. Lots of testing. And here we have now the separation of the cylinder.
Du système de lancement double Ariane.
And confirmation there that it has indeed separated. It moves away. It was protecting GX5. All big space projects involve a tremendous amount of teamwork and challenges.
All right, I'm going to assume this is another space commercial. So, let's start the race.
TIBA 1 program is the first communication space system for the government.
Then where did they get the Y from? Oh, SY from system. Oh no, Dustin! Oh no! Did it let you squeeze in?
With protected and secure ground satellite link. It is based on state-of-the-art antenna technology and digital payload, providing resilience, flexibility, and interconnectivity.
I don't think it lets you squeeze in, Dustin. This one looks... Oh wow. DPI is stuck.
The communication module was integrated by Thales Alenia Space and handed over to Airbus, who then drove the satellite integration.
There goes Kerbal again.
Many thanks
Gonna go up the upshoot
for their effort on the program. TIBA 1 was shipped mid-October to the Centre Spatial Guyanais. Many thanks to the Ariane Space
Poor DPI is still stuck.
And Ariane Group teams for the hard work for this launch. After the separation from Ariane 5, the Airbus teams in Toulouse will
yeah, DPI, I don't think you're moving.
An early orbit phase, which will span over 1 week.
Which is bad because it means it's going to time the whole track out.
For the handover to our customer. I thank here very warmly the government of Egypt for its confidence and for the exchange always held in a good spirit throughout the program.
This program had ambitious
what is happening back here?
Both in terms of performance
oh, they're swinging and they're knocking marbles around. And then there's this weird thing.
Of Egypt team and the French industrial team Thales Alenia Space and Airbus. I would like to thank all team members from Thales Alenia Space, Thales 6, Thales Egypt and Airbus who contributed to this major project for the government of Egypt.
Oh no, I get stuck in this? I think I did.
Of our great cooperation. And now we all wish good luck.
And then, oh, and then it's a funnel after that. Oh wow. Yeah, Guido fell out.
Also to be the son of Ariane Space's founder and its first president 40 years ago, Frédéric Dallest. So a nice tie in there.
Poor Guido.
He's saying everything's normal. Building an advanced satellite system.
Open cage fell off the track.
Engineering and human endeavor.
Oh look, at least did you a favor and knocked. Oh. And it knocked me off the track.
Of this program were, first of all, the capacity to fit such a complex payload in a relatively small spacecraft, allowing us to fly in Ariane 5 lower position.
And I guess it finally decided that DPI was off the track. Come on, broken symmetry.
The second one was the schedule challenge, with a delivery
you can do it
in 28 months, including a full-speed AIT sequence of 6 months. This required a lot of effort and dedication from all to reach this objective. I want to deeply thank both Inmarsat and Thales Alenia Space teams for this journey, as well as Arianespace for their fruitful cooperation all along this launch.
What is happening?
After GX5 separation from Ariane 5, operation
come on, you can do it. Go down,
Thales
go down, go down.
And Telespatio located in Cannes and Fushino premises will await telemetry's acquisition to perform satellite health check and start follow-up activities, consisting to
what is happening? Why aren't you going down?
In flight configuration. Secondly, get power by moving satellite with solar array partially deployed towards the sun.
Oh no.
And finally, perform reversal of orbit raising maneuver, allowing to bring GX5.
It must not have enough of an angle. Oh wait. Are you gonna get there before the timer goes off?
The duration of complete
and you did it!
To bring GX5 at targeted longitude.
You did it!
Around 10 days.
Okay, let's see what they're saying now.
Less than a minute now until the planned separation of our second passenger, GX5 for Inmarsat. Everybody concentrating hard. Obviously not just here at the base, but across the world. The tracking stations in Malindi, where the teams there are tracking these separation maneuvers. And of course at Inmarsat, where they're monitoring the satellite's health and progress, and everyone's getting ready to take on their new baby, start the process of flying their new satellite.
Séparation Inmarsat GX5.
And we have separation confirmed of Inmarsat GX5.
Awesome.
Great news. Ariane 5 has delivered her second passenger. Congratulations to everybody at Inmarsat. Best wishes as you take charge of your spacecraft. Happy faces here and jubilant smiles. 2 new satellites are born. A job very, very well done. Lots of handshakes and big slaps on the back, no doubt. For some people, the work is done. Some people have worked for years to get ready for today. And for other people, of course, the work's just beginning. The teams in the control centres are now taking charge of their babies, monitoring these first manoeuvres. Wishing them all the very best now for that. And of course other teams will be able to relax this evening. Setting the podium for the speeches that we like to have after the launches and after the events. These teams all know each other well, of course, and they've been working very closely, shoulder by shoulder. And we lifted off from the pad about 36.5 minutes ago from launch pad number 3 here at the Guyana Space Centre on board the 250th Ariane vehicle to lift off from the Guiana Space Center. It really was a spectacular launch. We were very lucky. Lifting off on board an Ariane 5, our two passengers, TIBA 1 and GX5.
That's still a really nice booster separation.
Lots of applause here in the Jupiter Control Center. Showing the flags and shaking hands, getting ready for the official speeches. There's the TIBA 1 teams here, looking very happy.
All right, I'm gonna hit play.
Lots of photographs being taken, of course. Everyone feeling very proud of themselves, I hope, for a job well done.
Poor auto caption. Yeah.
Waiting now for the post-launch speeches. And of course, up in space, the upper stage is going through its next processes. Once we separate the passenger, what's left of the upper stage is spun up into a different direction. We call it passivation.
So while they're figuring out what they're going to do.
In the meantime, back down here on Earth, everyone's celebrating the successful launch of the two satellites.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Ariane Space is delighted to announce that TIBA 1 and Inmarsat GX5 have been separated as planned on the targeted geostationary transfer orbits. Success tests even better when little of patience was needed. It was the case for tonight. So tonight is a very special launch for many reasons. We are now celebrating with this launch the 250th launch from the Ariane family. You know that the journey has started for Christmas 1979, 24 December, with Ariane first, and we are now almost 40 years later. What a journey we have done together. We are really proud that this launch, which is really special for all the Ariane family, has been delivered for loyal partners and customers. I would like, regarding TIBA 1, first to thank deeply Egypt, our partner for and customer for this launch. This satellite is the fourth satellite Ariane Space orbits for an Egyptian actor, after 3 for NISAT. But it is the first we orbit for government of Egypt. We have with us here in the Jupiter room very high-level representative from Egypt, and we are very proud to welcome them and to have them with us tonight. For TIBA 1, I want also to thank our satellite partners for this launch, Airbus and Thales Alenia Space. Airbus is our direct customer for this launch. We have a long-lasting partnership with Airbus and Thales Alenia Space, and we are very happy to have the opportunity to celebrate it for this launch. I want also to thank our second customer and passenger for this launch, Inmarsat. We have, with Inmarsat, a long story. The first Inmarsat have been orbited in 1981, and it is the 10th satellite we orbit tonight for Inmarsat, so it is also a birthday for us. I'm sure that Rupert Pierce is watching us. I want to thank him for his trust, and one more time we have delivered successfully for Inmarsat. Regarding JX5, the satellite manufacturer is Thales Alenia Space, and I have said how our partnership matters for us. So, 250 launches of Ariane. This success, for sure, is the success of Ariane space teams, and I want to thank them for their commitment, and they have shown these last days how they are committed to Ariane, but for sure it is a success of a family. This family is made of many players. We have, for sure, to celebrate and to thank ESA and all the member states of the Ariane program whose support is essential. You know that tomorrow we will have the start of an ESA ministerial conference gathering all the ministers of space, and how beautiful it is to enter in this conference with one more success from Ariane. So thanks, ESA. I want to thank CNES. CNES is Ariane 5 Design Authority. CNES is our daily partner in CSG. We welcome tonight the new director of CSG, Marianne Claire, and definitely what we have done since so many years, we have done it with CNES. I want to thank Ariane Group. Ariane Group is the prime contractor of Ariane 5. Ariane Group is the main shareholder of Ariane Space. We know that all the engineers of Ariane Group and all the suppliers were mobilized for this success, so thanks to Ariane Group. I want for sure as well to thank our contractors here in French Guiana. They have shown also for this launch that they were able to work without counting their hours. So once again, celebrate this wonderful success. Thank you very much to all our customers, and now I would like to welcome on stage our customers and partners. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. A fantastic moment, and to be honest, for me, it was the first time here in Kourou, so spectacular and breathtaking moment. So first of all, thanks a lot to Ariane Espace and their partners, CNES and ESA, for again another success. It's amazing to see the reliability of this launcher. And as you say, Stéphane, the cooperation and the work between Airbus and Ariane Space has been a long-lasting story. And I am more than happy today to see that this cooperation is serving the space ambition of Egypt. I would like also to warmly thank our customer, the government of Egypt. Thank him for the trust he has put in our consortium, Airbus and Thales Alenia Space, to build their very first governmental satellite. It has been an honor to work with you. I would like also to congratulate your team that has been following this program side by side with our teams during 3 years. Hard work, professionalism, and expertise. So congratulations for that. I would like also to take the opportunity to thank the French government, represented by the DGA tonight in this room, for supporting this cooperation for space between our two governments. Dear customer, tonight you have in orbit a satellite which is the state of the art for broadband and secured communication. And I think you can be extremely proud for that, with all the people of Egypt, to be tonight part of the space nations of having such an asset. TIBA-1 is based on the Eurostar 3000 platform. I think tonight it was the number 51 of this platform that has been orbited. And I will say that tonight we can say that with Eurostar and Ariane 5, we have probably the most reliable couple for making telecommunication in space. So the story is not over. After this launch, we will be still working together for the operational deployment of the satellite, and we'll be at your side again during all the lifetime of the satellite. And for sure, should our cooperation would last, we'll be more than happy to be at your side in the coming years. Last but not the least, I would like to thank the teams of Airbus, wherever they are in Europe, in the UK, in France, or in Germany. I would like to thank them for their dedication, their hard work to make such a success. And for them, again, the story is not over. They have taken the control of satellites from our control center in Toulouse. And I'm very happy to tell you that we are receiving the telemetry and everything is okay. So it's on its way. Those people are going to work during the coming weeks with a lot of dedication. So As a conclusion, I would like to say that with all the partners, all the people that are in this room that have worked on this program, more than ever, we can say that teamwork is the motto of our space industry. And now, if you allow me, I will try a few words in Arabic. Hayat Tawila lil Kamar Tiba Warid. Long life to Tiba One. Thank you and enjoy it.
So good evening to everyone. So it's also an event for me because it was my first launch, more so after having joined Thales Alenia Space about just 6 months ago. So many thanks to Ariane Espace for this wonderful launch. It started with some adventures to test, I think, the solidity of our nerves, but it ended very well. Kullu bikhair, as we say in Arabic. We have now 2 important satellites in space, and Thales Alenia Space, we feel really proud because we were involved actually in both of them. It's not often that 2 of our satellites travel together on the same rocket, but it happened today for the 3rd time aboard Ariane 5. It was a particularly exciting launch for Thales Alenia Space in that regard. So first, I would like to very warmly thank the delegation of the government of Egypt for their confidence and trust in us, and our partner Airbus for the quality of our cooperation. At Thales Alenia Space, we will put the same energy into developing further your current system, as well as developing new ones to help enhance Egypt's influence. I also want to thank the French authorities for their support in realizing this contract, and in particular the French DGA. Second, I would like to thank everybody at Inmarsat, and in particular Rupert Pierce, for placing your trust in such an important program, for Inmarsat, and Peter Hadinger and his teams for the excellent team spirit that was the key to this success. Third, a big thank to all of the teams, and in particular the women and men at Thales Alenia Space, who have demonstrated their commitment, enthusiasm, and professionalism. We have the deepest respect for each and every one of you. I hope you feel very proud of yourselves. Well done to all for this superb achievement. Right now, the next steps are to get the satellites to their final orbit and validate the space segment. The team have already begun to work on this. We have already the telemetry for Tiba 1. I'm expecting the telemetry for Inmarsat. I think it should not last very long now. So these might be 2 very different satellites, but they have something in common. Most importantly, the excellent quality of the teams. Both spacecrafts are outstanding projects. And behind outstanding projects, we find remarkable people. One of the greatest pleasure in our business is the deep relationship we build with our customers over the years. In a happy coincidence, the World Conference of Radio Communication took place in Egypt this month and just ended, actually last Friday, just a few days before Egypt got its new satellite. So an important moment for all our Egyptian friends. So we wish all the best to Tiba 1. Allow me to say in Arabic, Alf Mabrouk, to our Egyptian friends. We wish also Inmarsat and its customers the very best for GX5. Good luck to everyone involved in the next phase of operation over the coming hours and days. Congratulations to all. Merci. Shukran. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of all of Inmarsat, I want to thank everyone who's been involved in making this launch a success. I can confirm we do have telemetry from GX5, so we're good news there. This spaceport is so important, and it's been great to spend some time here, and I want to thank in particular Kness and ESA for maintaining and operating this site. So when Inmarsat selects a launch service provider, what we look for, number 1, is reliability. And Arianespace here are second to none in that criteria. So as Stefan says, launched 10 satellites for Inmarsat, and that represents the trust that we have in Arianespace. And I want to pay tribute to the teams that we've been working with. It's been a great privilege to work with the teams over the last 10 days or so, and to see it in action, the skills, the professionalism, and I know we'll be back. So the GX5 spacecraft is a very important one for Inmarsat. It's going to deliver a huge amount of new capacity into our global network, particularly over the Middle East and over Europe for our aviation and maritime customers. And we entrusted Thales to be able to build this spacecraft, and I'm delighted to say they delivered on their promises. Likewise, working with the teams in Thales over the last couple of years has been a real privilege. When problems come along, as all programs do, they're addressed in a very collaborative, in a great spirit, and they're addressed speedily and to resolution. And it's a great credit to the professionalism and the skills of the Thales team. So thank you ever so much. And likewise, I know we'll be working again in the future. So the satellite launch is a momentous event, but a satellite launch by itself doesn't make the whole network work. And I want to pay tribute in particular to the 2,000 people in Inmarsat and their families who support them, to actually can make this into a proper business. People who are doing the ground segment side, designing networks, designing terminals, operations, but also people who are in supporting all the functions. I'm thinking about IT, HR, finance. Without all those 2,000 people, we wouldn't have a successful business. So I want to say thank you to them, all their hard work and dedication, because this only happens because of them. So as I say, we have telemetry from GX5 now. The focus now moves to the south of France, to the Thales Control Center, where they'll spend the next 10 days positioning the satellite into the correct orbit and performing the deployments. And that will be followed by testing of both the spacecraft and the network, and then it'll enter into operations to be part of Inmarsat's Global Express network. And we hope that we welcome it as the 14th member of our satellite fleet. So thank you ever so much. And finally, I just want to wish the best of luck to our Government of Egypt colleagues, a very successful mission. And I hope you've enjoyed this, and best of luck for the future. Thank you very much.
The year is not totally over in CSG, so we will be back on December 17th. It will be with a Soyuz vehicle, and it will be as well a very important mission. We will have Cosmos SkyMed second generation for ASI and Thales Alenia Space, so for Italy. We will have a scientific mission for ESA with CHEOPS, and we will have 3 auxiliary payloads with Angels, ISAT, and OPSAT. So thank you very much for this wonderful evening, and see you back December 17th. Thank you.
All right, I am just going to go ahead and mute the stream there because it's pretty much over. They're continuing to talk. I struggle with all of those talks, and there is stuff that's still going on, but I can't sit through. I can't sit through it. I'm not gonna make you guys sit through it. So we'll toss more Cheerios at the dogs, because dogs. I know, make it rain. All right, so they mentioned a launch in mid-December. I don't know if we're gonna be streaming that launch, quite frankly, because travel and things. I have a few days where I am in between places in Ohio, but because of the nature of travel and turnaround time and things of that nature, I don't think I'll be streaming that launch. In fact, let me look that particular launch up. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be 3:54 a.m. my time. So no, we're not streaming that launch because no. Not doing it. Not doing it. It's not a decent hour of the time. A decent hour of the day for me. Anyway, that pretty much is it. So thank you to everybody that's tuned in. And yay, a rocket went up. Finally. Finally it went up. I don't have anything else for you guys. We will continue. Oh, excuse me. We will continue to be on break. Yes! Yeah! You I don't know if you were working at my prime finally. I don't know what that means, one girl. I'm happy to see you though. I'm totally happy to see you, but I don't know what any of that means. Come on, why aren't the credits rolling? The credits aren't rolling. Oh, you could subscribe with your Prime. Then why didn't it go off? Well, I'm gonna throw more Cheerios at the dogs just for your excitement. And make it rain! Make it rain! Oh, you didn't lurk? Okay, well, for those that just arrived, the Ariane 5 launch that had kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed finally took off tonight. So yeah, that was a thing. I apparently need more coffee in my life. It had two decently like large size satellites that went to geosynchronous Earth orbit, which is pretty large. So you're not gonna hold me hostage? Aw. Do you have any suggestions of who I should raid? Cause I don't even know who's alive right now. I don't know anything of anything that's going on. So yeah. I'm just kind of here. Yeah, things and stuff. Apparently I'm very tired. Alright, so we are going to continue to be on vacation until after the holiday. We will be back on Monday. I think it's Monday. Is it Monday? We might be back on Sunday. I might be lying. I'm not sure. DPI's like, I'd take a beer as well. I mean, I could. Yeah, it's the American Thanksgiving this week because we're a month late. There's a simulcast tomorrow. Okay. It looks like I might be able to stream on Sunday. I guess I got my week screwed up. But regardless, we will be back with Daily Space on Monday. Simulcasts are going as planned. Name a bird and eat it. Let's see. Tomorrow I'm going to have... Not tomorrow. Tomorrow's only Wednesday, but this week I'm going to have sweet potato pie. I'm probably going to have apple pie. I'm going to have pumpkin pie. I'm going to have turkey. I'm probably going to have a Cornish hen. There might be ribs. I'm hoping there's going to be ribs. I'm hoping there's going to be ribs. I don't know. One girl, two beakers says, pumpkin is my favorite. So I like pumpkin and sweet potato pie. Favorite human. Oh, she's not sitting though. Once you sit, Tink, you'll get bits. Favorite human, really likes sweet potato pie. Oh, she hopes there's ribs. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. There might actually be hot dogs. Hot dogs and hamburgers. It all depends on what favorite human's family grills. But his family are sweet potato pie family people, and my family are pumpkin pie people, and apparently pumpkin pie people dig sweet potato pie, but sweet potato pie people don't dig pumpkin pie. One grill, two burgers. Something like that. Oh my. Oh my. One girl, two beakers says, I've never tried sweet potato pie. Do not try the store-bought stuff. You will be disappointed. It is, so sweet potato pie is in America, it is typically a black family or a southern thing. So it just depends. Here, I live in Ohio, so in the northern part of the country, here it's typically a black American thing. I don't know how to make it. I missed the subcontext a few years ago because here when you make pumpkin pies, you just get like a can of pureed pumpkin and use that. I miss the pie broken symmetry. Yeah, because now we're just going to talk about food for a second. Had American Thanksgiving in Germany once. That's hilarious. So when I make pumpkin pie, I just get the pureed pumpkin and I add seasonings and other stuff to that, and that's my pumpkin pie. I could roast a pumpkin and could scrape it out from the skin. I choose not to. And I missed the subtext a couple years ago, and you can get canned sweet yams. You can get, I found it today, you can get sweet potato pie filling, and then you can just do sweet potato pie completely from scratch from sweet potatoes that you boil or roast or whatever. And I missed the subtext a few years ago for our first Thanksgiving, and I had asked, can you make sweet potato pie with, you know, canned sweet potatoes? And Favorite Human's like, yeah, you can. I didn't realize the subtext was, yeah, you can, but don't you let anybody find out it was canned sweet potato. So it's always Thanksgiving where we have this interesting kind of clash of, I want to say, like, this interesting, weird combination clash of cultures. So you had pumpkin, sweet potato, and marshmallow cream. If the sweet potato pie was sweet, it was definitely legit. Marshmallow cream is totally a thing in the US. It is totally a thing in the US. It's like liquid marshmallows, kind of. It's spreadable marshmallow. And having, so quite frankly, every time I've done Thanksgiving with my white family, it's been sweet potato casserole with like marshmallows on top. And that is, it's really sweet. And there's always, again, that first Thanksgiving, there was like, well, how were their sweet potatoes? And Favorite Human was like, they were pretty good. Because his family was all like, how are the sweet potatoes? Yeah, they were pretty good. But yeah, American foods are pretty wild. We could totally go into a tangent on that, but American foods are wild. So I am just going to enjoy the fact that my Favorite Human's family doesn't make chitlins, and he doesn't like chitlins, and I am not going to be pressured into eating chitlins anytime soon. Poutine, I am down to try poutine. That's more of a Canadian thing, unfortunately. Which, even though I live relatively close to Canada, it's still not a thing here. I'm just happy we have, you know, Timmy's, which is Tim Hortons for those that aren't familiar. Anyway, chitlins. Chitlins. I typed it out in chat. It's CHITLINS. Poutine is exciting if you've never had it. Chitlins are pig intestines. I'm not joking. They sell them by the big bucket here, like a big bucket you'd get ice cream in. I don't know if they do that in Canada. And yeah, they're pig intestines. It's also a Black American / South / a Southern thing, and Favorite Human doesn't like them, and his family doesn't make them, and yeah, I will not be exposed to chitlins, and yeah. Anyways, Paranor's like, Canada doesn't do chitlins. There's a whole cultural reason behind it. It goes back to, we're going way off topic from a rocket launch. It goes back to literally slave days and treating humans like they were animals and giving them the scraps. So that's how things like chitlins could do, or, you know, came about. That's watermelon was, at least that was my understanding, is that, you know, the slaves got the scraps. So things like chitlins, pork feet, watermelon, because I guess watermelon, for whatever reason, was considered just like a garbage food. I don't fully understand that because it takes a lot of resources to grow watermelon. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways. Yeah, watermelon's pretty well liked, but I think back in the day it was considered just garbage, just like lobster was considered garbage. Hummer? What is Hummer DPI? You mean hummus? Canadian, or One Girl Two Beakers says Canadians don't learn much about Black history. Neither do some Americans. A lot of the Black history I know I've taught myself and or been taught by Favorite Human. Oh, okay. Lobster. Yeah. Lobster was considered garbage food and fed to inmates. I think that's where GPI is, actually, is Germany. So, yeah. It depends on where you're at in the US. It literally depends on where you grow up. If you grow up in mostly predominantly white area, you may learn some about Black history. You may not learn a lot. If you are homeschooled, you might not learn any. If you live in a predominantly Black area, then yeah, you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn. From what I've been told, a lot of Black history was taught in the home for Favorite Human. So yeah, this was totally a tangent. People watching this later on YouTube are gonna be like, why are you talking about this? But yeah, it's yeah. Anyways, more dogs. DPI says, I'm okay with IPA. IPA sounds like a good beer to have right now. All right, let's toss Cheerios at the dogs to alleviate this, because this is kind of a deep conversation. I didn't mean for it to get deep. I just wanted to talk about sweet potato pie and all the food I was going to eat. I'm still excited about all the food I'm going to eat. All right, so yeah, we'll be back with regularly scheduled programming on Monday. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful insert time of day here. It is interesting, One Girl Two Weekers, but it's like I feel like if I get too off course, because this is like a space and science stream and not my personal stream, that people can get bent out of shape. So maybe I just need to start my own channel. I don't know. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, thank you everybody for, tuning in for the rocket launch. Thank you for listening to me talk about food, and things of that nature. So this all has been a production of PSI, that's Planetary Science Institute, located in Tucson, Arizona, working in collaboration with Youngstown State University here in Youngstown. Yeah, it's dark out, Ohio. We are brought to you by you. So thank you for literally everything y'all do. And we're gearing up next month in a few days to do our hangout-a-thon. So yeah. Broken Symmetry says, feel free. I don't know. I don't know what the feel free is in relation to. But yeah, thank you for everything, guys. Y'all are awesome. I will see you all again on Sunday, I guess. So I don't know what we're gonna do on Sunday. We'll figure something out. One Girl Two Beakers is saying, the feel free is probably doing your own stream, probably. Maybe. I don't know. I'm already got all the equipment set up for it. So yeah, if you're in the US, enjoy your holiday. If you're not in the US, enjoy your week. And yeah, thank you all again. I literally can't say that enough. And yeah, for real, I will see you all soon. Bye. Where's the transition?